Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and we are back with another video to help you earn them 2 million credits as quickly and as easily as possible. So yes, this track is a track that not many might actually know because it's hardly ever been used in Gran Turismo 7, but it's a very good track. It's quite enjoyable and it's one of the better fictional tracks in my opinion. Now we are driving in the Viper round here. It's a big heavy car. Brakes are not the greatest, but once you get used to making sure you brake early, it's not too bad. Just get them downshifts to rotate the car, and we're going to go through a guide anyway to show you how to get these 2 million credits as quickly and as easily as possible. And if you can't get the 2 million, you might be going for the 1 million credits. So simply, to enter this event, you need to go into sport mode in the top right there and click on that, and then you go into the online time trial. You'll be greeted with 2 separate time trials. If you're looking for a guide for the Spa one, we currently have that on the channel as well in the 2 million credit playlist. Click on there and you'll be able to look at that one. Now this is the new one. Currently 14.6 is a gold. That's going to go down probably to low 14s, and for silver it's probably going to be 15.5 to 6, and for bronze probably a very low 19. I did manage to get my time into the top 10 very briefly. It's probably out of there by now, but it is into the top 10, so you should be able to load my ghost up and you can chase my ghost. It's a 1 minute 12.9. it wasn't the greatest lap you'll ever see, but it's good enough for the gold. So let's go into this track guide and try and help you out as much as possible. So on the final corner, you're gonna have to be a little bit cautious here. You can't just go completely flat all the time. Sometimes it starts understeering or oversteering, so just be cautious on that. Not the greatest exit on this lap, you can see there, so lost a little bit from the start. But going into turn 1, you're going to be looking for the end of the blue board here on the right after the 200 board. So once you're going past this 200 board, the end of the blue, onto the brakes. As soon as you get to the end of that blue, onto the brakes, and now braking in a straight line. You want to take a very wide entry into this corner. So you can see we're going to go very from the high line and then come down onto the track. So you can see very late, hit that bump there, down into second pretty much as I hit that bump. Helps with the rotation, and then back up to third gear just as we put the power down there. And now you're going to have to be very cautious on this part of the track. As you see, we go over the yellow line here. You can see a little lift off the throttle because the track goes back up and it unsettles the car. So just a little lift off the throttle there just to try and stabilize the car a little bit, and just be careful you don't hit the wall on the right hand side. Now we're going to be using the 100 board as our reference for the next corner. You can see braking input going in there. And now we're going to rotate this car in very early. You can take advantage of a lot of the track limits on this track. A lot of the curbs can be really abused. So you're going to see again here, left hand tire almost onto the grass. You almost want to aim your left hand tire at the edge of that grass and right over the curb. And again, let the car rotate before putting the throttle in, and then you can see about 60-70% throttle, and then straight line in. And just as you go past the end of this grey tarmac and before the lamppost on the left hand side, you're going to get on the brakes. So you can see just before the lamppost, onto the brakes. Again, let the car trail brake into this corner. So trail braking all the way in, and then again take advantage of them track limits. You can see just how much we can take. The white lines are not really the limits, it's actually the curb by the looks of it. So yeah, you can really take advantage, and then get on that throttle as early as possible and carry the momentum out of this corner. Now this corner is very tricky for the braking point. You have to be on the brake super early. So what I do is, as soon as we're coming from this corner, you can see before we're at the end of the curb, way before you're straightening the car up, you're on the brakes, downshifting through the gears, and then downshift to first gear as you're entering into this corner. Because what's going to happen here, you can see as we go into first gear, it keeps it nice and tight to this apex because you want to keep the car right up towards this curb, and then let the car rotate, and then once it's rotating, back into second gear, because we don't want to use first gear for acceleration here. We want to use second gear, a little bit more traction from second gear. 50% throttle input there, let the car straighten up and then put that throttle down. And now try and get the car over to the right hand side as quickly as possible. You can see I couldn't really get the angle in there because we would have snapped the rear. So you really want to be where P1 is with the purple line, braking just before that 50 board on the right hand side there, and then down to first gear, and then back up to second gear for the traction on the exit. Now left hand tire, try and get this left hand tire up onto the curb and then squeeze that throttle. And this is all about trying to get the traction from the car. You can see this is where the purple line gains you that advantage on the exit here, because you take a wider line in, more ability to put the power down, and better exit speed. Now we're going to brake just at the start of the curb on the right hand side. Now again, this corner you can really take advantage of track limits. Now I didn't get this quite right, probably lost a tenth or two here, but you're going to see with P1's Ghost how you actually do it. So you really want to get over and take advantage of them track limits. Now, I actually do the corner pretty much perfect to the curb, but you want to be right over, because then you can keep the throttle down and keep that car accelerating all the way through the corner. So you can actually see on the Delta I lost a good tenth or two there. But what I do here is I get it quite low down and I give a little lift off the throttle just as we go through, up towards the yellow line, back onto the throttle, and we kind of get a little bit of time back there. So managed to do a reasonable exit on that corner and over the line for a 1 minute 12.9. Now there's clearly 3 temps at least left in that lap, so if there's 3 temps for me, I predict that this time is going to go to at least a 12-minute flat, probably maybe even to the 11 minutes, like late 11s, once people start pushing this 11.7s and 8s. So yeah, just bear that in mind when you're trying to get your goal time. You might need to go a little bit quicker than what you think. So let's have a little watch of that lap from the chase camera with the kilometers an hour on. Again, you can see that little lift there just to stabilize the car, and you can really see the track limits now from this view. You can see how we can take advantage of them, and then again through this corner, braking just after that bit of tarmac on the left, and again taking advantage of them track limits, and on the power as early as we can, get that car right up to them curbs, and then very early on the brake here. You can see how early we're on the brakes, extremely early there, using that first gear to rotate the car, then using that second gear for the traction zone. And again, you can see we really want to get that car over to the right, but you can see how I had to correct a little bit of oversteer. That compromises you into this corner slightly. You can see now we're having to put a lot of steering input in before we can put that throttle input in, and that just loses you traction time. So yeah, a little bit of lost time on there. And again, final corner, could have took a lot more off that corner. You can take advantage of that corner massively. But overall, not a bad lap. It should be gold. There'll be no issues with getting gold from this time. I don't think you're going to be worrying. If you're in the 2 minutes 12, you're on a gold 100%. But I do think it's going to increase from the 1 minute 12.5 that it's currently on. So you're probably going to be aiming for, I think the gold's going to get to a 1 minute 11.7 or 8 or something like that. So you're going to have to work that out, probably 7 temps quicker than what it currently is. Maybe into a late 13 might be required for the gold time. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if you enjoy these videos, if it's helped you out. I love reading them comments. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with these every single week. Take care, everyone.